Coming up on Spartan Sports Report, the football team hosted rival Michigan for its battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy. The men's hockey team headed north for a weekend series against the Wildcats, and the men's basketball team kicked off the season with an exhibition meeting.
Hello and welcome into the Spartan Newsroom for this all-new episode of Spartan Sports Report. I'm Jacob Maurer.
And I'm Jack Stager. And Jacob, we traveled quite a bit of distance to get from the 586 to the 517, but we're here in East Lansing, and what a weekend of sports we had.
Yeah, it surely was. As the reader says to wing this intro, so we can either spend the next 10 minutes talking about my favorite chicken wings or MSU sports.
I think MSU sports will be the best option. And how about those wing helmets coming into East Lansing this weekend?
Yeah, they certainly were popping as Michigan State welcomed in its in-state rival, the number 25 ranked Michigan Wolverines, as it searched for its first conference win of the season. The Spartans got the ball first and were looking to draw first blood, but Aiden Childs fumbled on this QB run, setting up a Michigan field goal and a 3-0 lead for the Wolverines. Later in the first quarter, the Wolverines were driving down the field and Bryce Underwood carried this one into the end zone, making it 10-0 Michigan. The green and white needed a response and Mekhi Frazier provided a spark for them, breaking off this 49-yard run to set the Spartans up. 8 plays later, Childs punched this one in on 3rd and goal from the 1 to get MSU on the board and make the score 10-7 going into halftime. On the first drive of the second half, it appeared for a moment that Malcolm Bell caused a strip sack and a recovery for the Spartans. But after a few moments of celebration at Spartan Stadium, officials announced that Bell was offsides as the ball was snapped, nullifying the turnover. Michigan took advantage 3 plays later as Justice Haynes rushed this one in to make it a 2-possession lead for the Maize and Blue. Haynes, though, was not done as late in the third quarter he would score his second touchdown of the game, making it 24-7 Wolverines. Michigan State would answer on their next drive early on in the fourth as they capped it off with this 1-yard score from Brandon Tullis. The Spartans failed their 2-point attempt, leaving the score at 24-13. Later in the quarter was when the dagger came as Jordan Marshall ripped off this 56-yard run for the score to put the icing on the cake of what would end up being a 31-20 win for Michigan. This is the 4th year in a row the Wolverines have claimed the Paul Bunyan Trophy and the 5th straight loss for the Spartans overall, dropping to 0-5 in Big Ten play. Head coach Jonathan Smith and junior linebacker Jordan Hall had this to say after the game.
I mean, we are working. These guys are working. Staff, players, all of us, we are working to get this thing better, and was not good enough this tonight.
We're not frustrated. We're just going to keep attacking each week. Of course, we want things to go differently, but if you go into that with frustration, things will never get done.
Spartans will travel to Minneapolis as they take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers this Saturday, looking to snap their losing streak.
The Breslin Center opened its doors for the first time since March as the number 22 ranked men's basketball team took the court for an exhibition match against the Bowling Green Falcons last Thursday. Take a look at this one. Headed off early, Michigan State looking to get into scoring position with a good season last year, but Sam Towns, the senior for the Falcons, what a performance he would have against Michigan State, capping this one off. 20 points in the afternoon along with 12 rebounds, getting it going early for the Falcons. But quickly, an answer for Michigan State as Cohen Carr gets his first dunk of the early season to go. He would have 17 points and 5 rebounds in this matchup. Jeremy Fears doing work on the defensive effort, but also on the offensive effort as well, improving that 3-point shot from last season. Jackson Kohler, a big year he needs to have. The senior gets this strong and one to go. He would have 15 points and 10 rebounds, an early double-double. But again, it's Towns once again. The stretch four can just not go away, continuing to lead the Falcons. But then it's Carr once again going back and forth with the Falcons. Michigan State would get out-rebounded, but again, Trey Fort, the transfer coming into the season from Samford, he would drop this 3-pointer to go as Michigan State would pull ahead late and come away with the exhibition victory. And after the game, head coach Tom Izzo had this to say about the team's shooting performance.
I thought we had some really good three-point opportunities, and I think we're a better shooting team than we were last year. And yet we didn't make some really good shots.
The Spartans will face number 4 UConn Huskies on the road in their final exhibition game tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
The number 23 Michigan State women's basketball team kicked off its 2025-26 season with an exhibition bout against the Huskies of Michigan Tech. The Spartans started off the game firing on all cylinders as Theron Halleck took over scoring in the game's first 8 points with a great mix of tough finishes. It was a game where Michigan State would be dishing out dimes all night, like this one from Jalen Brown to Kennedy Blair for the reverse finish. Spartans continued dealing out assists, including last year's connection from Halleck to Grace Van Sluten, which pushed MSU's lead to 65-21 at the break. Michigan State's lead would be too much to overcome in the second half, thanks to MSU mate's three-point shot, as she would be draining from beyond the arc all night long, tying her career high in three-point basket makes with 6, pushing MSU to a 101-58 win over the Huskies. Head coach Robin Freilich and shoemates spoke with the media on improvements needed going into the regular season.
I thought we played the score instead of playing the game the right way. So, the second half gives us a lot of film and things to work on, and the second half's defense was. It'll give us a lot of motivation and practice.
I think always just keep my shot sharp. I think it's huge for me, being able to knock down open threes, and then my defense. That was a huge part. And then as a team, I think we really worked on our rebounding. I think that's an area that we always got to be strong in and determines wins or losses, so staying on the boards.
Michigan State kicks off the regular season against Mercyhurst in the Breslin Center at 6:30 p.m. on November 4th.
Coming off its first conference win over the number 12 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, the Michigan State field hockey team traveled to Iowa City to take on the number 10 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes on Thursday. After junior goalkeeper Lyra Gavino gave up 6 goals in the first half, MSU's backup sophomore netminder Ashley Herbert came in and made 3 saves with no goals allowed in 33 minutes of relief. But MSU ultimately fell 6-0 to its Big Ten foe. Following the loss on the road, the team looked ahead to its contest against number 20 ranked Indiana on Sunday in Bloomington. After a scoreless first period, the Hoosiers managed to notch 1 score, but sophomore back Carol Schaefer quickly shot back, getting a goal for Michigan State. However, Indiana continued to dominate, scoring another 5 goals during the match, all of which remained unanswered by the Spartans, losing 6-1. MSU will look to get back in the win column as it faces number 2 ranked Northwestern this Friday.
Coming off a sweep of the then number 1 Boston University, the best team in college hockey now resides in East Lansing. Number 1 Michigan State would go looking for back-to-back sweeps against Northern Michigan. Spartans making their first trip to Marquette since 2019, facing the Wildcats on Friday night for Game 1. Halfway into the first period, Porter Martone dancing with the puck, spins around and finishes with this high corner shot, getting the Spartans on the board 1-0. 10 seconds remaining in the first now. Top line back at it again. Martone finds Charlie Stramel in the slot, extending the Spartan lead 2-0. MSU on the power play in the second. Gavin O'Connell secures this rebound from Maxim Sturback, putting his team up 3-0 with his first goal of the season. Northern Michigan pulled its goalie for the last 2 minutes of play, but Tommy Manisto takes advantage of the open net, completes the 4-0 shutout victory. MSU led the shot count 40-24, and goaltender Trey Augustine completed 24 saves to help secure the Green and White's 4th straight win. Following the Game 1 victory, the Spartans would look for their first clean sweep over NMU since 2007, and it would be a new face between the pipes for MSU, freshman goaltender Melvin Straw making his first start for the Green and White. Into the first, and moments after Riker Lee had his goal waved off for offsides, Manisto slides in with this powerful slap shot, getting the Spartans on the board for real 3 minutes in. All squared up, 2-2 in the third. Danny Russell with this wrister on the power play, putting things back in the Spartans' favor. 3 minutes left with MSU up 5-2, and the whistles were out. 2 Wildcats and 3 Spartans finding themselves in the box after this brawl. 5 of the 20 penalties handed out during the contest. Spartans playing down a man, but that wouldn't matter as Shouty wins the race to the puck and puts this one in the bed with the shorty. Spartans take the 6-2 win in the UP, with Straw contributing 22 saves in his debut. Following the victory, head coach Adam Nightingale spoke about a few of his takeaways from Game 2.
First might have been one of the best periods we played this year. I thought we got to our game right off the bat. I thought we learned some tough lessons on, a couple of offsides. Like, we want to play fast, and if you're not working out, we're still going to be moving the puck north, and so it cost us a couple goals there, and I got to do a better job with the discipline.
Michigan State finished its non-conference play 5-1-0 and will get Halloween weekend off before opening up Big Ten play against number 4 Penn State on Friday, November 7th here in East Lansing.
The men's and women's cross-country teams capped off their regular seasons at the Eastern Michigan Classic in Dexter, Michigan last Friday. The women's team dominated with senior Sarah Forsyth earning a PR of 17 minutes and 20 seconds and sophomore Madison Osterberg following right behind with a time of 17 minutes and 21 seconds, earning the 2 top spots. Senior Cookie Ball also shattered her previous best, finishing 4th overall. As for the men's side, freshman Ethan Powell led the Spartans with a 7th place finish with a time of 15 minutes and 26 seconds, followed by freshman Matt Schroff in 9th and freshman Gus Rode in 10th. The Spartans will travel home this Friday to host the Big Ten Championships on Halloween morning. And Jacob, with this kind of speed they're bringing, the only thing is scarier than that might be trying to keep up.
That's impressive. 13th ranked women's soccer team aimed to end its regular season strong in Lincoln, Nebraska against the Cornhuskers. After a scoreless first half, the tie would finally break in the second as Spartan senior midfielder Emerson Sargent buried the go-ahead goal off a feed from junior forward Kennedy Bell to take the lead 1-0 in the 62nd minute. That would top off a shutout as the Spartans ended the Cornhuskers' Big Ten tournament hopes and secure the number 2 seed in the upcoming tournament. The Spartans are set to face off against either Northwestern or USC this Sunday in West Lafayette, with a chance to move on to the Big Ten tournament semifinals.
In the midst of its Big Ten schedule, the Michigan State men's soccer team played against the Kansas City Roos, looking to get back in the win column after 5 straight losses and ties. This first half, what a defensive battle it was. Neither team able to find the back of the net early. Michigan State 6 shots compared to Kansas City's 5. But eventually, in the 49th minute, it's Rafael Kieschman who scores, putting this one behind Zach Kelly and putting the Roos up 1-0. Kieschman, a native out of Brazil, one of the 12 different countries that make up the Roos roster. And now continuing in the match in the 61st minute. Check out this own goal, Jacob. This one closing towards Zach Kelly, but it's eventually going to hit senior forward Jake Spatafora as Kansas City would go up 2-0. And then in the final minutes, MSU would play 7 seniors, but they could not find the back of the net as it would be a 2-0 shutout, and the Spartans have not scored a goal since October 3rd. Jacob, that's 411 minutes of play on the pitch. MSU will look to capture its first win in October as they travel to Piscataway, New Jersey to face off against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights on Halloween.
Yeah, shocking stat there as we move on to Michigan State volleyball. Their team traveled to Iowa City to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. MSU's Karolina Staniszewska had a career night with 23 kills, her first time hitting the 20-kill mark in her career. But that was not enough to get the job done as the Spartans would fall in 4 sets. The loss splits the season series between the Spartans and the Hawkeyes 1-1. Following the 3-1 loss, Michigan State volleyball traveled to Lincoln, Nebraska to take on the number 1 team in the country, the undefeated Nebraska Cornhuskers. Despite a strong effort from Zuzana Kulig and Bianca Mumchular, who both led the team with 7 kills, the green and white were outpowered in 3 straight sets. The Spartans dropped to 15-5 overall and 5-5 in the conference, with a chance to redeem themselves against number 10 Purdue on Friday night at the Breslin Center.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Spartan Sports Report.
For more content, make sure to check out all of our social medias down below, as well as the Spartan Newsroom website. I'm Jacob Mauer.
And I'm Jack Stager. We'll see you next week.